G'day guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video, it is one of the most important, and if not the biggest video on the channel that we do on the channel yearly. It has come this time of year again, and it is time for my season predictions for the AFL. Before we get into the video, obviously leave a like and subscribe. This year is hopefully going to be a massive year for the channel in terms of content, growth, views, etc. So make sure to drop a sub and join in with the group that we have amongst here on the channel, and we're just trying to build as much as possible and expand as much as possible in season 2023. So in today's video, we're going to be going through my ladder predictions from 18th to 1st, as well as my Brownlow prediction, Coleman prediction, Rising Star, and also my final grand final prediction as well. Before we get into the predictions, I just want to say I've gone very out there with some of these calls, so obviously they're probably not going to be right, but you've always just got to have these little things that probably aren't going to happen, or definitely aren't going to happen, just for pretty much entertainment purposes only. So I've got a bit of piss take in this list as well, but nonetheless, we're going to get straight into it. So we're going to be starting off with the ladder from 18th to 1st, and starting off in the 18th position, we have the West Coast Eagles. Look, I just don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. Last year, they finished 17th with only 2 wins recorded in a 22-year season. Last year, they finished 17th with only 2 wins on the board, leveling with North, and honestly lucky to escape that wooden spoon position. Just a percentage was the only thing dividing North Melbourne and West Coast. Last year, they won 2, they lost 20. The West Coast Eagles, they're just going nowhere. They're in an absolute shocking state, and I just don't think anything else except from time is going to build them up from the position where they currently stand. So only time can really do it for the Eagles, and I obviously just don't think it's their time. Look, let's be honest, they're just absolutely shithouse. So I'm going to pop them in 18th position. We've got a bit of a controversial one that people have different opinions for, certainly different opinions for. I've gone with the Essendon Football Club in 17th position, and I'll give you my reasoning as well. The new coach, usually when you get a new coach, like, yes, they've had the whole off-season to prepare with a new coach, and every Essendon fan that I've talked to so far is like, oh yeah, he's going to lead us to a bloody premiership, he's going to lead us to the top 8, he's going to lead us to finals wins. I just don't see that happening. I just don't feel like the group have the mindset at the moment. They say that they're a very young team, and they just can't do it. They just can't do it with their mindset. I'm just going to put it out there now. You can clip this, and if at the end of the year they're winning finals, then bloody make a TikTok edit on me, whatever. But I just don't think they have the ability to escape. Well, certainly not into the top 8, but they just don't have the ability to escape the bottom 4. Coming up into 16th position, we've got the GWS Giants, which were a bit disappointing last season. They finished 16th last year. I've got them in 16th again. 2021 is really where they just had a bit of a drop, and I can't believe back like a few years ago, they were one of the best teams, one of the most exciting teams, and just challenging teams in the comp as well. And now they are just bloody trying to grapple out of that bottom 4, which isn't a good look at all. And GWS, they just don't have the players to compete against these top teams such as, you know, Freo, Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, etc. They just don't have the list to compete against the top 8 teams, I guess you could say. And if they can't compete against the top 8 teams, they probably can't even compete against Essendon, St Kilda, those just real average teams. In 15th position, I've gone with the North Melbourne Football Club. They've done absolutely nothing special in the past few years. And look, they are definitely inclined, they're definitely increasing their skill on the rebuild, and the rebuild is really helping out the club. However, I don't see them escaping the bottom 4 for another year. However, next year I think they might get out of their bottom 4 slump if they have the skill, which I feel like they will definitely improve a lot from this year, the start of this year to the start of next year. I reckon the Roos will have a decent increase in skill and just chemistry around the club. In 14th position, I've gone with the Adelaide Football Club, just one of those bang average teams. They probably aren't going to do anything special this year. I just don't see it making the 8, let's be honest. They just don't have the skill, the talent, even just the fight to, well, they do have the fight. I'll give them that. They do have the fight. However, they just don't have the skills needed to be making it into the top 8. I'm going to pop them in 14th, just a real bang average team. And I just don't see them going anywhere probably inside of that top 10 position. Probably 11th is the highest I can see him finishing. However, I feel like there's a bit more advanced teams that I've got to put above the Crows, which I am obviously going to. 13th position, we've got Port Adelaide. So the two Adelaide teams sitting right next to each other. Port Adelaide a few years ago, unstoppable, one of the best teams in the comp. Couldn't beat them at the Adelaide Oval, and now they have just really dropped off. I'm going to chuck them in 13th because I just feel like, once again, it's just one of those bang average teams that I just don't see doing much. Obviously, you can't judge much off the Pracky matches, but they did lose to Freo by about 5 goals in the Pracky match a couple of weeks ago. And with their ladder placement last year in 11th, I just see them slowly on the decline, which is what is expected to happen for the Port Adelaide Football Club. I don't see them going anywhere this year, so that's why I've chucked him in 13th position. 12th position now, we've got the St Kilda Saints. I reckon this is just as average as you can get for a football club. I'm not going to lie. Finished 10th last season, and they definitely do have the capability to make the 8. It's just, however, they just can't seem to win games against good sides. They will always get it done against the crappy, shocking sides. But when they're faced up against a top team, they just can't get the job done. I think they beat Carlton last year, and I genuinely couldn't name another team who they beat last year that is genuinely good. They beat Freo at Optus, but that was very early in the season, and then they just couldn't seem to get the important wins in a row. They choked the last 3 games of the year last year, which definitely could have had an impact on them making finals, whether or not they were to play finals last year. 12th position, I'm going to put the Saints because I just don't see them having the urge and the courage this year. Coming in at 11th is a bit of an interesting call. I've gone with the Western Bulldogs, who have definitely got the list to do something special this year. I will give it to them. However, a real undeserving finals appearance last year. I just don't see them getting through again. There are just better teams than the Bulldogs that definitely deserve to go through more than them. However, the Bulldogs definitely just do have the capability to prove me wrong here with absolutely everything I'm saying, because they've got good players, they've got the list, new inclusions such as Rory Lobb, all the other blokes that are really fitting into the squad really nicely. Their forward line is superb. They've got the bigs, they've got the talls. They just need to be converting inside 50. Coming in at 10th position, I've got the Gold Coast Suns. Look, I reckon it's going to be a huge year for the Suns, and I'd just love to see them make finals. How good would it be to be watching the Gold Coast Suns play finals footy? However, I just don't think it's for them just yet. I reckon next year, 100% they'll be making the final series, and I feel like I might have said this in last year's season predictions that the Suns will probably be making it this year. However, just don't think they're there yet, and I feel like there just are better teams than the Suns that are competing, which just got to go above them. In 9th position, I've gone with the Sydney Swans, and it is just scientifically proven that if you have a smashing in the grand final, the team that gets smashed is just gone. They're just absolutely out of it, and that is why I've actually put them outside the 8 and not even in finals. However, I feel like everyone is also going with the same reasoning behind this as me. If they do put the Swans outside the 8, it's because it's been proven heaps of times before. After a big grand final loss, you're just bound to choke out of the finals the upcoming season. I feel like they will make the 8. However, just based on the stats, I just can't really tip them in their favour, and I'm going to chuck them in 9th. However, really between 6th and 9th, all those teams could be jumbled up into whatever position really. Moving on now to my top 8 predictions. This is absolutely huge. These are my 2023 AFL finalists who will be playing in September. Absolutely huge. In 8th position, I have started off with the Carlton Football Club, who have a lot of talk going to them and a lot of high expectations that they just need to bloody hit in season 2023. Last year, they just choked the last 4 games of the season, which saw them bloody out of the 8. Can you believe it? They were in the 8 for every single round apart from the final round coming into the finals. The Blues just have to get it done. If it's not now, then when is it going to happen? Genuinely, if it's not now, they can't just keep saying next year, because I remember back in bloody 2016, 2017, all the Blues fans pre-season are saying that this is the year. This is the year Carlton make the 8 and win the flag. They have done absolutely nothing special since 2017. They haven't made a finals appearance, they haven't won a final, they haven't won a grand final, they've done absolutely nothing. So if it's not this year for the Carlton Football Club, then I'm actually not sure when it is. Moving into 7th position now, I've got the Richmond Tigers. The Tigers are just always in the 8 no matter what. They're just one of those teams that are always competitive no matter who they have, no matter who's dropped, who's injured. They're just always up there competing against the real quality side. That's why I've got Richmond sitting in the top 8, because I just feel like they're always up there. They're always a bloody good team to watch. They're exciting, their ball movement, their control, absolutely everything about the Tigers is just spot on. However, I can see them sliding outside the 8, but just from what I've seen over the past 5-6 years, they're just going nowhere. They just aren't getting kicked out of the 8. Moving on to 6th position now. This is definitely the most controversial call of the video. I've gone with the Hawthorn Hawks. I did see Cardi's predictions, and he has put the Hawks in the wooden spooners. However, I'm just seeking something special from the Hawks. I always give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these season prediction videos. Pretty sure last year I ranked them quite highly when they only ended up finishing 13. The Hawks somehow proved me right in season 2023 and finished 6th on the table, higher than Richmond, higher than Carlton, higher than Sydney, higher than all the other teams that I've mentioned previously. An absolute task for the Hawks to complete, but I genuinely think they can be top 8. Coming into the top 5, I've got the Brisbane Lions in 5th position. The Lions just don't seem to have the successful finals periods that they need to have, obviously, just to keep on pushing on and on further into the finals. However, last year they did prove us wrong. They beat Melbourne at the G, they beat Richmond first week of finals. They just had a real outstanding final series last year until they faced the Cats in the elimination final at the MCG, where they got absolutely pumped by about 12 goals. However, Brisbane, high expectations. They've got a huge inclusion in Will Ashcroft, which is going to make an absolute significant impact in the Brisbane lineup. Although he's young, he's an absolute jet. He's a future Brownlow medalist, he's a future Norm Smith medalist. Brisbane are very lucky to have him by their side. I reckon a top 5 finish for the Brisbane Lions. Top 4 is definitely on the cards, but I just don't see him dropping out the 8. Certainly, they'll definitely finish somewhere inside the 8, just whether or not it is 5th really depends. Coming into the top 4 now, all these teams do get a second chance when it comes to finals footy. 4th, I'm going to select the Melbourne Football Club. They've just been so great. Obviously won the Granny in 2021, only a couple years ago, and they have been showing some pretty promising signs. New inclusions to the club, Brody Grundy, and a few other huge names. Lockie Hunter by their side, although he doesn't do much. I just feel like these little ones just keep on adding up and stacking up until they've really just got an absolute jet of a lineup. The Melbourne Demons, they're going to be fiery this year. They're going to be bloody scary. They're going to be a very, very tough team to beat. In 3rd position, I've decided to go with the Geelong Cats. Obviously finished top of the table last year and obviously ended up winning the premiership as well. They had an outstanding season last year and proved every man and their dog wrong. I did say they were too old and too slow, and I'm pretty sure I put them 6th last year when they ended up winning the flag. However, Geelong, I just don't see them going anywhere yet. Obviously, they've seen the depart in the captaincy of Joel Selwood. However, let's be honest, he didn't do much. Obviously, an absolute great skipper, but on the field, he wasn't too talented. However, just not as good as he used to be on the field. There's definitely better names than Joel Selwood last year in their list. However, having him as a captain is absolutely significant. Can see Geelong making the grand final and even going back to back if they wanted to. Coming into the top 2 now, I'm going to put my Freo Dockers in 2nd position. We biased as much as you want. However, this year we are going to be bloody good. We've seen some huge inclusions over the off-season and the trade period that are definitely going to help us out. I feel like we just need a real strong start to the year just to really assert our dominance in the league and tell the teams that we are an absolute fiery force in season 2023. We've definitely got the capability to finish top 4. Definitely will make the finals in season 2023, and for some reason people are also putting Freo a bit down out of the top 4. I'm not sure why. There is genuinely only up from here. Last year's season was absolutely impeccable, and this year I feel like is just going to be even better. We're just going to keep on getting better and better until we do make the grand final, until we do win a flag. So I reckon this year we're going to climb up to 2nd position. And finishing minor premiers in my 2023 season predictions, I've got the Collingwood Magpies. What an outstanding season they had last year, defied all the odds put against them. Everyone tipping him to be finishing 17th, 18th in that bottom 4, and they come out and do absolutely everything. They did sneak into the top 4 in that last round of the season, the Pies. However, weren't able to make it past the preliminary finals as they choked to the Swans. However, they weren't able to make it through past the preliminary finals as the Swans just had them covered by a point. They were coming and coming and coming, the Magpies, and they were just so bloody close. They were just one edge away from making it into the grand final, but however they couldn't bloody execute. Those are my ladder predictions from 18th to 1st. Now I'm going to be going through my Brownlow, Coleman, Rising Star and grand final predictions. Starting off with the Brownlow medal, I'm going to go with my boy Andrew Brayshaw. If I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure I might have even tipped him last year for the Brownlow during my mid-season predictions, and he was bloody up there. He's an absolute young superstar. He's going to be an absolute jet this year. He's just going to get better and better as the team gets better and better, I reckon, the Freo Dockers. He had an outstanding breakout year last year, and no one could bloody stop him. It was an absolute dominant force on the field, and he is going to do so much this year. I can't wait to see him play. Such an exciting young gun. He kicks the snags, he gets the touches, he's just an absolute ball magnet. His ball awareness and just everything in general on the field is absolutely elite. I reckon he's a solid chance of winning the Brownlow this year, and that is why I've picked him for this year's Brownlow prediction. Moving on to the Coleman medal, I've decided to go with Tom Lynch, which seems to be a bit of a fan favourite in the AFL community for predictions. I'm going to go Tom Lynch as he can clunk the marks and he just has that many set shots at goals. Yes, he does miss a lot, but I reckon if he just executes those little ones, those little mistakes from straight in front that he misses nearly bloody 100% of the time, if he can just fix up that hiccup, then he's definitely on the way to winning. For my Rising Star prediction, it is quite obvious who I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with Will Ashcroft from the Brisbane Lions. He's an absolute jet, this bloke. He's a future Brownlow medalist, and as I said earlier in the video, he's a future Norm Smith as well. He's going to be in the top 10 of the Brownlow this year, absolutely no doubt about it. Certainly in the top 3 best and fairest for the club as well. For my last prediction of the video, I'm going to be predicting my grand final results, which see Richmond and Collingwood face to face at the G in September. How bloody exciting. It'll be 100k in the house, and I feel like Collingwood are going to get the job done in the 2023 grand final. Richmond 74 to Collingwood 89, a 15-point victory for the Collingwood Magpies. It's going to be a close one all day, but the Pies just scrape out with a few late goals in the end, and they will seal the victory in season 2023. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe down below. However, also feel free to drop a dislike. This is obviously only my opinion, so I don't really care if you disagree with me. I would probably disagree with me too. Anyway guys, I'll catch you all in the next one. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. It's going to be a huge year on the channel. I'll catch you all in the next video.